Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Flame Emperor episode number 525 based on novel. So let's start. Kaylin's mighty voice was transmitted in every inch of space in the 10-colored demon snake cave. Crack. After a while, the 9 rock pythons completely shattered, and the surrounding rocks and 9-color halos instantly turned into countless sandstorms floating in the void. After the coercion of the snake spirit, it slowly revealed its true colors. The traces of the spatial shock are a little strong. Will it lose the inheritance power of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python? Seeing the entire swaying void, countless giant rock snakes fell from the sky one after another, raising countless dust and sand. Xiao Yan couldn't help but worry. This space is not really a place of inheritance, but more like a blindfold set up by the 10-colored sky-swallowing python. The inheritance of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python is too huge, and it seems to be hidden deeper by it. Kaylin's icy snake eyes stared at this piece of void that was beginning to collapse and shattered, constantly searching for some strange spaces, trying to find out the real place of inheritance. Boom! It didn't take long for a ravine several thousand meters to appear in the ruins below, and it suddenly appeared at the feet of the two of them. Looking up, it was an ancient underground palace that had been silent for countless years. A heavy aura inherited from the ancient times suddenly came out of the underground palace. Breakthrough. For a time, the 10-color snake spirit in Kaylin's arms once again released a frenzy, and even the power of the 10-color swallowing python in the body erupted in bursts of fiery fluctuations. Below is the habitat of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python. The beautiful and moving Cai Lin was silent for a while, and with some vague guidance from the 10-color snake spirit, he locked the final destination of the trip. It's really a strange place here. Let's go. Xiao Yang and Cai Lin looked at each other, and they swept towards the underground palace below. However, during the movement, there was a touch of 10-color light on the jade hand of Kaylin, and he was always alert to the surroundings. Once there was any emergency, the 10-color swallowing power in his hand would be instantly swept out by it. Such a terrifying attack, I am afraid, enough to cause real spatial fluctuations. The world below is said to be an underground palace, but it is not. As the distance got closer, it was astonishing to be able to discover its true appearance. It is a strange altar that is nearly 1,000 feet long. There are countless lifelike statues around the altar, snakes, scorpions, insects, and countless other magical beasts emerging one after another. However, these creatures all have one thing in common: poison, and their heads and bodies seem to be bowing respectfully in a certain place, sincerely obeying. Looking around the altar, there is a dry stone throne arranged in a mysterious arrangement in the center. On the throne, there is a young woman sitting quietly. The woman has a calm demeanor and looks no different from ordinary humans, but there is no life on her body. On the latter's pure white wrist, there is a snake pattern full of the power of 10 colors, which sets off its powerful breath, and even on the delicate forehead, there are 10 long hairs entangled one by one. 10 long hairs, each with a different color. Xiao Yang and Kaylin could feel an unprecedented fear from them even if they were separated by thousands of meters of void. The female queen on the throne was weird, sitting upside down on the throne, facing Xiao Yang and the two with her back, 10 long hair and 10-colored snake patterns on her wrists, vaguely revealing an extreme unease. This guy is the legendary 10-colored sky-swallowing python. At this moment, Xiao Yang's pupils shrank slightly, grabbing the color scales in the void outside the altar, and lost his voice. The place of inheritance is here. Cai Lin exhaled heavily, and then looked at Xiao Yang with some nostalgia. Don't worry, it'll be all right. After all, I've dealt with the power of the 9 colors in the netherworld. Cai Lin tried her best to make herself look calmer. She knew that only she could handle the inheritance of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python in front of her. If Xiao Yang was involved, I'm afraid. Cece. The 10-colored snake spirit on Kaylin's shoulders is now quietly suspended beside Kaylin's delicate body. There is no violent fluctuation in the faint snake eyes. It looks extremely pure, but its eyes are always locked on the throne of the altar. Woman on top. Luan novel. She is dead. Xiao Yang nodded heavily, then turned around with some difficulty, and said word by word. I don't know. Maybe she's still alive, maybe she's dead. But the inheritance of the 10-colored swallowing python, I must get it. Trust me this time. At this moment, Kaylin smiled slightly, and the bright 10-color light flickered all over her body, like a dim star suddenly bursting with bright light, and the terrifying aura of the queen of the Medusa family slowly poured out. Well, actually, I prefer your appearance and attitude. Let's do it. I will protect you from the side. If there is any problem here, I will take action as soon as possible. Xiao Yan smiled lightly, and the 7 holy flames and the god execution ruler appeared on the palm of his hand, and quietly retreated to the side. It really surprises me. The blood essence left in the Do-Di continent was able to cultivate such a remarkable descendant of the sky-swallowing python. In an instant, with the surging power in Kaylin's body, the void of the entire altar suddenly solidified, and a cold voice came out from the throne. It was obvious that the woman didn't turn around, didn't move, and didn't even twitch her mouth to speak, but this voice shook the 2 people present like the sound of nature, especially the color scales. Bang! As soon as the voice fell, hundreds of monstrous snake tails poured out from the void of the altar, and they were all filled with 1 to 9 kinds of colorful destructive energies, and blasted away viciously at Kaylin's delicate body. Boom! Kaylin's beautiful eyes slanted with a cold and lazy breath, her wrist calmly pointed, and with the power of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python in her body, she instantly attacked with these snake tail. This suppression comes from the depths of the soul, but also from the bloodline. But Kaylin also knew that this battle must be won. Identity confirmation, it is indeed a member of my family of swallowing pythons, or a rare little guy who has completed the evolution of the 9-colored swallowing python. After a simple test, the cold voice came out again. Beat me. You can get everything you need. The 10 strands of long hair on the woman's forehead instantly shone, and a terrifying energy full of 10-color power slowly entrenched under the throne, exuding some kind of terrifying fluctuations that could turn the world around. Boom! Xiao Yan, who quietly retreated to the side, kept his eyes on everything that was happening in the arena, but after such a situation appeared, his whole heart was also shocked. If the woman on the throne was transformed by the legendary 10-colored sky-swallowing python, then what kind of mysterious realm did her strength reach? 8-fold reincarnation? Or the 9 reincarnation rank? Xiao Yan can't be sure, but one thing is certain, the 10-colored swallowing python in front of him is definitely one of the existences standing at the peak of this world. For a time, countless powers in the body slowly twisted. If Kaylin failed, no matter what the cost, you must defeat her by yourself. Ancestor, offended. Cai Lin's eyes were surging. She clearly remembered that when she obtained the blood essence of the 10-color swallowing python in the Do-Di continent desert area, the mysterious woman seemed to be the same as now. But the memory of the surging springs emerged, and I clearly remembered that the destruction of the swallowing python family seemed to be related to the demon world master. Countless perceptions spread all over the body, but Kaylin could only temporarily suppress these doubts. The majestic energy in the body gathered, and a domineering queen who ruled the world faintly emerged. In the dim void of the altar, the woman on the throne suddenly turned around slowly, revealing a beautiful face that could subvert all beings. Beneath the glamorous face, there is an icy killing aura invisibly, as if the life and death of all living beings only exist in a single thought. The slender jade neck, combined with the 10 pieces of snake and scorpion demon hair on the delicate face, suddenly filled with an incomparably strong and demonic aura. Above the slender waist, a touch of colorful power began to spin and flow. When he looked up, especially when he saw this woman's eyes, it turned out to be pure and flawless, and even a sense of temptation to lose his soul slowly came out of his heart. This guy unwittingly released an extraordinarily majestic power of temptation, and if he was a little careless, his mind would be controlled by him, which was extremely weird. Guru. Cai Lin dryly swallowed a touch of saliva, and then slowly took a few steps forward. Looking at the woman who was standing beside the throne, she bit her lips and said softly, 10 Cai swallows the power of the sky. The slender wrist swayed suddenly, and a colorful snake pattern appeared first, and there was an endless coldness in his eyes. With his hands around his chest, some mysterious handprints were constantly changing. With the appearance of this scene, the energy of heaven and earth in the entire altar suddenly became violently shaking. CC. The 10-color energy became more and more intense, and a vortex of energy was vaguely formed above the altar. After a while, a huge snake shadow with a body covering the sky and the sun quietly poured out from it. Above the 10-color giant snake, the whole body is filled with 10-color snake scales, which is splendid and gorgeous. In conjunction with the 10-color snake spirit that has been standing in front of the color scales, it faintly exudes a shocking power. The blessings of the two have brought the power of Kaylin to a new level. Strangeness. On the other hand, Xiao Yang watched this scene, but his eyes narrowed unconsciously. The difference between Kaylin's strength and the strength of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python woman is too huge, but Kaylin's current actions don't seem to be declaring war with her. Could it be that defeating this guy does not require a head-on defeat, but only requires the use of bloodline or other powers? Medusa. Petrified eye. Seeing Kaylin's actions, the Shutsai Tian Python woman seemed to have sensed it. After blinking her eyes, she nodded and smiled. Immediately, in her clear eyes, there was a Shutsai halo that turned into a monstrous energy ray, suddenly facing Xian. The scales exploded away. In an instant, the void solidified, and a touch of suppression appeared in the entire altar. The suppressed breath made Xiao Yanhe unable to move. Color scales. Watching this scene, Xiao Yang's heart beat suddenly, the 8-layer spiritual palace in his body suddenly rolled over, and an unprecedented crisis suddenly emerged. There is no way to defend against such fighting skills in front of you. Moreover, the petrified pupil cast by the 10-colored sky-swallowing python is fundamentally different from the petrified pupil controlled by Kaylin. This attacking fighting technique seems to be enough to completely petrify even the soul and even the vitality. Once it is hit, I am afraid there is no way to crack it. Boom. Around the altar, countless heaven and earth energies surged up first, and then became eerily silent. Bring it on. Although this petrification ray was like a death blow, Kaylin had no fear. There was a hint of madness in his eyes, and he actually met the latter's attack directly. Under the guidance of the 10-color snake spirit, she seemed to know that in order to obtain the inheritance of the 10-color swallowing python, all she needed was to withstand such a devastating attack, escape from it, and feel it. Crack. The delicate body was touched by the ray of the petrified pupil, and the anger on the entire body quickly disappeared, and scenes of lifeless stone statues completely wrapped the color scales and suppressed them. OU ebook. Kaylin's breath is rapidly fading. Xiao Yang didn't know what was going on. His insensitive sense of smell let him know that if a color scale was completely petrified, then her breath and life would completely disappear from this world. At that time, Kaylin was probably no different from a dead person. Burning decision. Holy flame. God-killing ruler. At this moment, Xiao Yang's eyes were blushing, and his whole body was bathed in a layer of orange-gold hot ashes. Bang. The terrifying power that shook the sky and the earth fell down, turning this altar upside down in an instant. Is the Holy King's artifact. Seeing Xiao Yang's actions, the 10-colored sky-swallowing python woman turned around instantly, and blasted away Xiao Yang with a touch of 10-colored power. Naturally, she would not let Xiao Yang destroy her good deeds. Fart. At the moment when the power of 10 colors and the Jushin ruler came into contact, there were no violent fluctuations, and the two energies were strangely blended above the void. Strange, why does the master's breath fluctuate on this guy? In an instant, a shocking expression flashed in the pure eyes of Shutsai swallowing python. The corners of his eyes kept beating. After a while, he slowly shook his head, as if he had made some decisions. 10-colored chaos world. After a brief hesitation, the 10-colored sky-swallowing python woman twitched her jade hand, and countless 10-color snake shadows appeared in the void, slaughtering Xiao Yang one after another. The god execution ruler cooperated with Sheng Yang's swing, and the snake shadows of energy easily drowned under it, but Xiao Yang's body was also covered with countless colorful halos. Pull into some unknown latitude. Destroy. The cold voice sounded completely. Xiao Yang only felt that the world was spinning, and he seemed to be brought into a very special dimension. At this time, Xiao Yang seems to have been sent to some wonderful place by this woman. There are a lot of memories and news about Xiao Yang's previous life in that place. It seems that this woman did it intentionally or was entrusted by others. My strength, my inheritance, although I am afraid, it is not something that anyone can inherit. At this moment, the 10-colored swallowing python woman suddenly changed the petrified power that could annihilate everything. No distractions, forever and ever, refining the soul with the heart, devouring the world. At this moment, with the disappearance of Xiao Yang, the 10-colored sky-swallowing python woman slowly came to the petrified Kaylin, and some mysterious words continued to sound, as if they were touching Kaylin. And the countless snake monsters on the altar are also slowly exuding a thick violent atmosphere at this time seems to be resisting the erosion of some kind of breath, influence. The source of that breath turned out to be color scales. The 10-color swallowing python woman approached the color scales, and the jade hand gently touched the petrified statue, and transported her own power little by little. The color scales in the petrified statue also seemed to undergo some kind of transformation. Over time, I'm afraid it will grow to a point of incomprehensible horror. For a time, on this altar, countless forces gathered towards the petrified body little by little. On the dead seat in the center of the altar, the blood shimmering with the power of 10 colors slowly formed the size of an arm. The 10-color snake shadow slowly approached Cai Lin's side. At the moment when its 10-color snake shadow appeared, this world suddenly became silent, as if the power contained in it was above the world. That kind of power. At least it's the level of the ninefold reincarnation. You can search for Fighting the Sky God, Yang Emperor novel Cool Notes, in Baidu to find the latest chapter. In the altar of the 10-color demon snake cave, countless ancient and huge powers continue to gather on Kaylin's petrified state. Even the 10-colored sky-swallowing python woman gave her inheritance little by little to Kaylin. Those forces converged along the petrified statue, as if constructing some mysterious and complicated forces. On the other side, Xiao Yang was enveloped by the extraordinary power of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python woman, and instantly fell into an unknown special dimension. Here, what exactly is this place? Time and space flowed, and countless unfathomable forces were constantly surrounding Xiao Yang. Xiao Yang could only feel a gloomy and cold wind emerge. Delivered to a specific place. In the void, no sound or breath responded to Xiao Yang. But Xiao Yang knew that in this space, the countless powers on his body seemed to have temporarily lost their effectiveness, and he instantly returned to a crippled person with no cultivation. In this void, even the concept of time has become blurred. Walking and moving like this, I don't know how long it took. The line of sight in front of Xiao Yang suddenly became empty, and some illusory scenery was vaguely pouring into the line of sight. Looking up, not far in front of you, is a chaotic place full of nothingness. The entire space is dead and dark. Here, there is no trace of aura, as if everything is still. An indescribable sense of oppression enveloped this special void. Xiao Yang didn't think too much, and focused his eyes on the void in front of him. In the strange space, some fluctuations that made him feel familiar. After a while, above the void in front of Xiao Yang's eyes, an ordinary silver mirror appeared strangely. As soon as the mirror appeared, it released a strange aura and began to surge, and some clear pictures slowly appeared in it. Feeling like this, it's as if the 10-colored swallowing python woman was guided by a big man to come here. The picture in the mirror seems to be telling himself some unknown secret. Above the picture, it was a chaotic and dirty world at first. The world was covered in grey, and there was not even any living creature in it. The sky was dark, and after a long time passed, two figures appeared whose real faces could not be seen at all. One person shone with a faint silvery white brilliance, while the other person was bathed in a milky white brilliance. The power of the two belonged to the extraordinary existence, and it was simply not comparable and imagined by Xiao Yang today. Behind the silver-white radiant figure, the arm-sized 10-colored swallowing python quietly hibernated behind him. It seemed to have an excellent relationship with this figure. A fierce light appeared in the snake's pupils, and vigilantly stared at the milky white radiance in front of him. Silhouette. Apart from that, there is no other movement in the picture. The two figures can only see the appearance of the human body vaguely. Their arms, limbs, and even their faces are all in a blurred state. The picture began to distort and change, as if to demonstrate some unknown secrets. In the picture, there is a pure paradise where birds and flowers are fragrant. The two of them live like real human brothers, helping each other. But the good times didn't last long. After a while, the terrifying fluctuations emanating from the two of them seemed to be an extremely fierce quarrel. After that quarrel, the conflict reached its limit, and the two fought for it. In that battle, the whole paradise was chaotic, and the final result was that two figures both fell. The milky white figure was forcibly shattered by another figure, turned into 3 parts, and swayed away from this paradise. And after the silver-white figure on the side has done all this, his life has come to an end, and his whole body has turned into 9 gorgeous and complex petals, which are scattered at will, and spread out following the power of 3. At this point, the picture suddenly shattered, but one of the 9 scattered petals appeared strangely in Xiao Yang's hands. Holding the palm tightly, a warm aura spread throughout the body, and even the soul in his own body actually had a rare resonance with it. This petal and his soul seem to have the same purpose. That kind of fluctuation seems to be very similar to his past and present life. After a while, the petals shattered and opened, and a new memory flooded into Xiao Yang's heart like a spring. In the Great Thousand World, in a small town called Wangshan Pavilion in the human world. At this time, there was a lot of excitement here, and there was even a pink boy with a special pattern in his eyes, and a complex imprint of petals poured out between his eyebrows. The most peculiar thing is that this little boy who looks no more than 10 years old is actually a reincarnation rank. The little boy stared straight at a thin man in front of him, and a sense of danger came from his heart. "Children, I just came here. Can you let me get acquainted with this place?" There was a faint milky white pattern hidden in the thin man's eyes, and he said to him with a smile, "You're not from here. Go back wherever you came from, don't disturb our peace here. At this time, the little boy actually said some very profound and mysterious words. I'm here for you, and for the mark in your body. Take it off and give it to me, and I can protect your area forever. There was a scorching heat in the thin man's eyes. Without the slightest shyness, it seemed that everything in front of him had already been controlled by him. Really? The corners of the little boy's eyes were surging, but the majestic hostility released from the eyebrows turned his body into a stream of light, and he fled the town directly and quickly. If you can't escape, everyone here will die. Yuan Tian. I will take it for you in the first life of your reincarnation. The 9th reincarnation, I will look for them one by one and kill them completely. At that time, this world will be mine alone. Thanks to you, the current status of the other 2 powers can be said to be the real leaders in the entire Great Thousand World and even outside the territory. As soon as he finished speaking, the thin man raised his palm, and bursts of faint milky white flames poured out of his palm, which easily landed on the head of the little boy who was trying to escape. At this point, all the vitality of the little boy disappeared out of thin air. It seemed that this mysterious petal mark and the strength of a reincarnation level were too weak in his hands. After a while, the whole town turned into a pile of rubble. Ghosts and wolves howled, blood flowed into rivers, and it was miserable. The 9th reincarnation that the senior transformed into before he fell? Milky white flame. The milky white figure is divided into 3 parts, and the silver white figure is reincarnated in the 9th world. 10-color swallowing python. What exactly is going on? Xiao Yang was still analyzing and sorting out the information. Obviously, what he saw today was too shocking. This kind of intelligence news seems to be a sensation, and even the intelligence that subverts the entire world. In the endless fire domain. Xiao Yang, have you found one of those powers? Yun Qi, who lives alone in a quiet room, has a faint imprint of the rays of the sun emerging from the center of his eyebrows. In the imprint of Xiaoguang, there is a faint breath that falls into a deep sleep. The breath is sheltered by 9 mysterious petals, and it seems to be a brand new life. Its name is like another place. Damn it. Why am I looking for his 8th reincarnation, but this last life can't be found? What the asterisk is wrong with this? In a faraway place, a handsome figure bathed in a milky white halo couldn't help but sneer. There are dozens of dark coffins all over his body, and the breath of them is not lacking in the breath of some powerful ghosts. As for the reincarnation of the 8th generation in his mouth, he has already been completely killed by him, and his body and spirit have been destroyed. Even the resurrection magic of the angel kingdom can't do anything. This guy is the guy whose whereabouts and even the identity is extremely strange. Ren Yuanzi. It's just that the latter is allowed to search for the reincarnation of its 9th life, but only the reincarnation of the last life cannot be found. It seems that the 9th life never existed in this world at all. In the mysterious void, Xiao Yang quietly closed his eyes and comprehended the scene he had just seen. Fortunately, before entering here, he had secretly given Kaylin the medicinal pills that Kaylin needed, as well as 2 holy flames. The 9th reincarnation is mysterious, but why doesn't he have this kind of petal imprint on his body? But he can clearly feel that there seems to be some power fluctuations in his body. The petal imprint I just saw seems to be just a space-time image that records news, as if it remains here, telling myself something. For a time, I had mixed feelings, but Xiao Yang gained a lot of insights because of this, that the 6th level reincarnation rank strength that had just been promoted actually spread rapidly towards the peak. Time flies, and in the 10-colored demon snake cave, almost a year has passed, and the outside world is only more than a month old. Kaylin, haven't you left the customs yet? After the retreat was over, Xiao Yang's whole body was swirling again, as if being pushed out by the mysterious latitude. He immediately returned to the altar. Just after returning to the altar, Xiao Yang's heartstrings suddenly resonated when he saw Kaylin accepting the inheritance in front of him. Judging from the image of the petals just now, the 9th reincarnation has been killed by that mysterious guy for several lifetimes. Once all the 9th lifetimes fall, the gate of heaven and earth may not be able to be resurrected. And the guy with the milky white figure, his threat is even more powerful than the leader outside the territory. It's just that what has been bothering Xiao Yang now is that in the 9th reincarnation, there are many people with extraordinary talents. How can I find them? And who is the most mysterious and unpredictable 9th reincarnation? Is it yourself? Although I do have some subtle fluctuations in my previous life, I don't have those petal fluctuations in my body. Countless questions plagued Xiao Yang. Boom. With a bang, an indescribable squeezing force suddenly spread out from the altar, and countless snakes and scorpions in the petrified state trembled, as if calling for some kind of Xeon to come. For a time, the entire altar was empty and collapsed instantly. The terrifying squeezing in the altar spread and spread, and even with Xiao Yang's current strength at the peak of the sixth-layer reincarnation, he couldn't help but burst into palpitations. Above the altar, 10 colored rays of light suddenly emerged, and immediately an incomparably huge body, surrounded by a terrifying power that devoured the sky and devoured the earth emerge. That is a 10-color swallowing python in a complete state. The dense multicolored scales on the skin shone with a gorgeous luster, and with the silent and colorless eyes in the snake pupils, an innate arrogance and domineering permeated out. The 10-color halo swept out, and the next moment it shrank rapidly, and finally it turned into a beautiful figure with an enchanting curve. On the coquettish, cold, and lazy face, there seems to be a touch of contempt for heaven and earth. So beautiful, such a powerful oppression. Xiao Yang's body stood on the ground of the altar. For the first time, he saw Kaelin in a complete state. His heart was beating slightly. In front of such a stunner who brought disaster to the country and the people, even Xiao Yang lost his normal concentration. The languid and icy charming face seems to contain some kind of strange power that robs the soul, not to mention the almost perfect and maddeningly delicate body, and even contains some kind of extraordinary power that devours the heavens and the earth. Exist. Today's Kaelin seems to have once again returned to the fierce and famous Queen Medusa on the Dochi continent. The color scale just appeared, her eyes were silent, she raised her slender jade hand and waved it towards the altar, countless 10-color snake shadows roared down, and finally turned into a scene of 10-color light, which completely wrapped and sheltered this altar world. With the perfect inheritance of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python, it is natural to protect the last altar world, which is also a kind of feedback. Where's Xiao Yang? Howie fiction. After doing all this, Kaelin's beautiful eyes slowly glanced away at this piece of heaven and earth. Focusing on his gaze, he looked at the man in black on the ground of the altar, the coldness on his face disappeared instantly, a soft and warm smile appeared, and there seemed to be some ecstasy in his deep eyes. When his eyes found Xiao Yang, Kaelin's lazy and cold eyes suddenly burst out with scorching heat, and her delicate body surging, matching the innate spirit of Queen Medusa. Glamorous and moving, the beauty is suffocating. Did you make it? Seeing Kaelin's ruddy complexion and the mysterious power surging around her body, Xiao Yang asked with a smile. Well, you. Sixth reincarnation rank peak? Kaelin moved the lotus step lightly and instantly came to Xiao Yang's side, but after a while, there was a rare look of doubt and surprise in her beautiful eyes. You too, the sixth reincarnation stage? As soon as the words fell, Xiao Yang and Kaelin couldn't help looking at each other and said in unison. The heaven-shattering demon flame and the medicinal pill are the keys to the perfect absorption of inheritance this time. The other holy flame doesn't match my breath. It should have someone more suitable than me. After Kaelin finished speaking, the slender jade pointed towards Xiao Yang, and a pure source of holy flame emerged. That is the source of the holy flame of the foxfire. In that unknown world, there are some things about the 10-colored sky-swallowing python, you must know. Seeing such a beautiful and moving color scale, Xiao Yang accepted it and shook his head gently. The news revealed in that mysterious latitude was too shocking. Xiao Yang would definitely not tell Kaelin. Let's go, it's time to go back. After the two talked again, Xiao Yang laughed. Wait. The journey to the demon world is not over yet. Heavenly Evil Blood Tiger has a good talent. If you can give grace to stay in the center of the demon world, it will be of great help to our future alliance. There is also the World Master at the center of the demon world. The previous World Master led people to slaughter our swallowing python clan. Although the World Master has no such intention now, he has coveted the power of the colorful swallowing python for a long time. I can separate a trace of the origin and help the two break through the real 8th level and 7th level respectively. At this moment, Kaelin's personality and strength have undergone earth-shaking changes. Obviously, after accepting the power of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python, the limit of Kaelin is the 9-fold reincarnation level. Now the 6th level reincarnation level, but his understanding of the control of the power of the 10-color swallowing python is not complete. 8-fold reincarnation. Would it be too risky to do so? Xiao Yang said solemnly did not agree to Kaelin's proposal for a while. Now, with his strength at the peak of the 6th level reincarnation, he has only a less than 10% chance of winning against the Demon World Master. It should be worth it. In the inheritance of the 10-color swallowing python predecessors, it has been clearly recorded. The Wood Spirit Pearl exists in the hands of the World Master at the center of the Demon World. Kaylin smiled enchantingly and seemed to have guessed Xiao Yang's concerns. Wood Spirit Orb. At this moment, Xiao Yang's heart beat suddenly. If you can complete the transaction with the Demon World Lord, then you will have 3 Spirit Orbs in your hand. The plan now is to not know whether the Demon World Boundary Master is the greedy Wood Spirit Orb, or the chance to break through the 8th reincarnation rank. These 3, actually left safely from the home of Shutsai Swallowing Python. Looking at their aggressive appearance, it seems that they are heading for the World Lord Temple. Is it possible that there is still something unresolved? The ruins of the mountain peak where the entrance of the 10-colored swallowing python was stored surged, and 3 dazzling energy halos suddenly poured out and swept toward the center of the demon world. In this regard, many powerhouses in the center of the demon world were at a loss when they watched this scene. Obviously, they were very puzzled. Now that the matter has been resolved, why did the 3 of them still go to the temple of the World Lord? These guys, what are they doing? Could it be because of the slaughter of the heaven-swallowing python by the past world lords? In the center of the demon world, in the temple of the 9-tailed demon fox, a beautiful woman in a moon-white robe looked up and looked at the 3 of them. Her voice was full of worry and anxiety. Since they went to the territory of the 9-tailed demon fox clan, her ancestor had noticed them, but as a person in the center of the demon world, she could not interfere in the affairs of the lower world. Xiao Yang helped the 9-tailed demon fox clan regain its former glory. Let him have a good impression of Xiao Yang and the others. As for Xiao Yang and the others, they entered the center of the demon world again. The purpose seems to be to go to the demon world master. The king of all beasts and the 10-colored sky swallowing python were originally one of the previous world masters in the center of the demon world, so they were very familiar with every plant and tree here. After a few minutes, Xiao Yang and the 3 arrived at the temple where the world master lived. Outside. Not surprisingly, after some movement, Xiao Yang and his party came to a quiet mountain forest, where there was a strange palace that looked like some kind of peerless beast, and the majestic power around him was daunting. According to the power of Kaylin's inheritance, it is not difficult to detect. This is the temple of the world master of the demon world. Here is his habitat. But with this thing alone, I'm afraid it will be difficult to complete that transaction. Arriving outside this quiet temple, Kaylin shook her head slightly and smiled bitterly. Although she revealed the news of the Mu Lingzhu to Xiao Yang, the Mu Lingzhu is one of the keys to Paradise Lost, and Paradise Lost is among the rumors left by the digital Xeons, controlling the key to entering the God of War. The path to enter the Doshan, and the complete breakthrough to the 8-fold reincarnation level, the choice of the 2, no matter who will choose the former. Do not worry. Xiao Yang smiled, he had his confidence. As for the heavenly evil blood tiger on the side, there was a burst of ecstasy on his face at this time, and the 2 followers seemed to have given up. The 2 of them had just emerged from the homeland of the 10-color swallowing python, and they gave themselves a trace of the blood of the 10-color swallowing python. With this, it would not be a problem to step into the 7th reincarnation rank. Today, he has long regarded Xiao Yang as the real masters. Go. Xiao Yang and Kaylin looked at each other, and both of them took a step forward at the same time, gently touching the door of the temple with their palms, pushing it away. Boom. The temple portal was easily pushed open, but before the 2 stepped into it, a green demonic energy swept out with an indescribable terrifying pressure. The power of the World Master. The Tianxia Shuahu who followed behind the 2 had a cold face, and his body trembled slightly against such pressure. This kind of change really made Xiao Yang and Kaylin feel a great pressure. The dazzling holy flame and the power of 10 colors were constantly entrenched in the 2 of them, and they actually walked towards the temple step by step. The power of the 10-colored sky swallowing python. As expected, you were completely captured by this guy. In the icy bronze temple, a roar of hatred swept out like a beast. Senior, we meet again. Xiao Yang and Cai Lin slowly resisted the threat and oppression of the Demon World Lord, their eyes locked on the Demon World Lord entrenched on the stone table. In the shrine, it is quite cold and listless, except for some basic stone table collections. There is only one huge hall, as if the shrine here is a secret room for the latter to practice. Several people poured into the temple with such a big fanfare. Is there something else going on? The demon realm's mind moved, and his eyes kept glancing at the 2 of them, and he couldn't help but ask. The demon emperor had already told himself that the purpose of their coming to the center of the demon world was just to solve the matter of the 10-colored sky swallowing python. Now that the matter is settled, shouldn't it be logical to return to the endless fire territory? I want to ask the senior a question. I'm not obliged to answer you. While I'm in a good mood now, go back and forth from where, otherwise, even if there are many strong people behind you, I will do something to you, especially the one next to you. The power of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python is for me, but... The demon world lord sat on the stone table on his own, holding a green scroll in his hand, as if he was comprehending something. Guru, is this the original blood essence of the 10-color swallowing python? In an instant, before the voice of the demon realm boundary master had finished speaking, there was a beautiful jade bottle on Kaelin's jade hand. In the bottle, there seemed to be a drop of 10-colored blood standing quietly in it. Even if it is separated from the jade bottle and the seal of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python, that drop of blood exudes an extremely majestic energy. Is there a wood spirit orb in the hands of the world lord? Xiao Yan spoke softly. What? The old eyes slowly moved away from the scroll in his hand. First, he stared at the original blood essence of the 10-color swallowing python in Kaelin's hand, and then his body shook violently, and a look of shock slowly appeared in his eyes. Why did this Xiao Yang know about the wood spirit pearl? Even I know very little about the 5 spirit pearls. If it wasn't for the succession of the previous generation of world masters, I would not have been able to know it in my life. What does it mean? The next moment, the shock on the face of the demon world disappeared instantly, and the calm state was restored, and he said in a light tone, "We are willing to exchange a drop of the original blood essence of the 10-color swallowing python and our predecessors in exchange for the wood spirit orb. This drop of blood essence is different from ordinary blood essence. It is integrated into the original soul of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python, which can help seniors completely step into the real 8-fold reincarnation level." After Xiao Yang finished speaking, his eyes locked on the demon world boundary master, as if waiting for the latter's decision. Obviously, this is the biggest chip they can come up with. Kaelin and Tianxia Shuahu also slowly released a powerful force, always keeping an eye on the movements of the demon realm boundary master. Xiao Yang, do you know what you're talking about? Do you really think that the master would not dare to kill you? The majestic and domineering demon light spread out, instantly suppressing the breath of the 3 people present. The sudden scene and the majestic murderous aura made Xiao Yang's face extremely gloomy. He stepped back slightly, and a dazzling holy flame gushed out, sheltering Kaelin and the 2 of them. Did you guess wrong? The wood spirit orb is not on him? Or this kind of transaction, for him, is too ridiculous. Demon realm boundary master, your time should be running out. If you insist on pursuing the road of fighting gods, I dare to say that you will fall completely before you break through to the 8th level. If this transaction is successful, I can write off all the grievances of your past world lords against my Tiantian Python clan. At this time, a beautiful arc surged around Kaelin's body, and the power of the 10 colors twisted slightly, and it turned out to release a majestic demonic aura that was not afraid of the world master of the demon whirl. Obviously, the inheritance of the 10-colored sky-swallowing python seems to have passed on the countless secrets known to the former to Kaelin. Today's Kaelin, like a snake and a scorpion, has a cold and glamorous smile on her cold and lazy face. She is staring at the demon world boundary master word by word, waiting for the latter's decision. Whether to choose this transaction to prolong his life, or to use the remaining short time to gather 5 spirit orbs, coveting the supreme power of the great thousand world. Battle God rank. This video will end here.